Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Crafty Christmas in July 2023 YouTube collaboration hosted by Terry from Sweet Pea Papers and Lisa from Paper Lace and Bling. All of the YouTube collaborators are linked in the description box below, so if you want to check out their channels for some Christmas content throughout the entire month of July, go ahead and do so. And don't forget to check out some of their Etsy shops too, because several of them are running specials throughout the month. Now let's get back into our project. So my project is a December daily traveler's notebook style. Last video we did layouts 5 and 6. Today we're going to start with layout 7. So I have all of the stuff here. I've got my pages, my spread for my pages here. One's red, one's black. I did use an embossing folder on the black side. It was a little tricky because we've already done the other side, so I only ran the embossing folder through on this half. You might be able to see here that the embossing folder did not get to this, but that's okay because I'm making a pocket there, so I didn't think it was a problem. For the spread number 7, I'm going to place my 7 on this side of my paper over here. I've got a very simple photo mat out of the gold cardstock from the collection. And then I have one of these leftover branches that I made previously whenever I was making things for my signature covers. So I'm going to be placing those on my page, and I'm also going to be using the Merry and Bright label down here. And I've got this little piece of trim left over. This is left over from some of the trim that Lisa gave us with our goodie bag for the collaboration. And Lisa's shop, Paper Lace and Bling, has a sale right now. So if you spend $15 or more without shipping and tax, then you will receive a free yard of lace. So go ahead and check out her shop. It is linked in the description box below. So I think I'm going to place this stuff pretty much like this on the page. I'm going to have this tucked behind and then going up the side of this mat for my photo so that the photo will still slide behind it. And then I've just got this piece of the paper from the cut apart sheet that I'm going to place here, and I'm only going to glue the sides and the left side, the top and the bottom to create a pocket. And I've got one of the journaling cards left over from the collection that I'm going to tuck in my pocket. So again, a pretty simple page, but then I'm going to come back and I'm going to add some embellishments using my gems. So now I have all of my elements on my page. I'm going to add some of my metallic gold pearls and my red gems just to add a little bit of sparkle. So I'm first going to start with my gold gems, and I'm going to add 5 of them over here. We've done this in previous layouts, so this shouldn't be something new. Each one of these is going to go right between these little banner pieces on my trim. And then on this side, I'm going to put 1 gold pearl in the center of each of my flowers down my little pocket. And then I'm going to add my red gems. On my embossing folder, I have these diamond patterns, and I'm just going to place them right down that side of the page here. So this is it for layout number 7. Pretty simple, but I still think it looks good. Once this is all dried, I'm going to go ahead and move on to layout number 8. To start with spread 8, I'm going to be using this paper here. I've cut this down Hope you can see this. There's two little corner stickers here on the top piece that I've already placed on the paper. And then I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to put it about a ½ inch from the bottom. And I'm going to wrap this around the back side and secure this just to the back side of the paper. That way, whatever I place behind that ribbon can just be tucked into it. And it can be a photo, it can be a ticket to something, it can be a recipe, it can really be anything at all. So that's the nice thing about leaving some open spots in these types of books, is that if it's not a photo specifically on the page, you don't always need to have a photo mat. So I'm just going to leave this open to be used however is necessary for day number 8. So I'm going to then adhere this piece right down to that background paper. I'm going to make sure that I have some adhesive on top of that ribbon too, because I want to make sure that it doesn't pull off of the page once it's in my signature. Then I'm going to add this button that was given to us. Lisa from Paper, Lace, and Bling did give some buttons in the goodie bag that she sent. And I don't usually use buttons very often. For some reason, I just have a really hard time using them. I think they look cute in projects, but I just don't feel like I'm very good at using them in mine. So I'm gonna try this button out and just kind of have a simple little embellishment with the button and the ribbon. That's all I'm putting on this page. And then coming over here, I have cut this cute little pocket. I used this piece here from my Planner Essentials die. And I'm going to be adhering the sides of this pocket and the bottom of the pocket. That way I can tuck my little Wonder and Joy piece behind it as like a bookmark, or it can be a journaling spot. Really, again, it can be anything, whatever it needs to be for this day. So once that's on the page, I've got my Wonder and Joy piece that I'm just going to tuck right down in there. Then I have my little banner piece here that I'm going to adhere to my page, and I'm going to add my number 8 to my banner. And now that all of the stuff is on the page, I'm just going to go ahead and add some gems. First, I'm going to add one here, and then I'm going to add one on each of the 4 corners of my pocket. And for this one, I'm just going to be using the gold gems on all of these ones. Since there's already so much red on the page, I want to bring some of that gold in. And next I'm just going to add some red gems. I've put them next to where I'm going to place them. but I want to just place some of these gems on my page just to give it a little tiny bit of color there. This bottom part's just a little too open for me since I'm trying not to add too much of the paper at this point. So I just want to break that up with a little bit of color, and I'm going to use my gems to do that. So this is how I'm going to leave spread number 8. And next we're actually going to go on and do spread number 9 so that we can finish the entire first signature. Now we're ready to begin number 9, and this will be the final layout for this first signature. So I'm going to use this as my background paper first, and I'm going to just place it right here in the center of the page. I've taken my postage stamp dies from Everything's Blooming. This is from Elizabeth Craft Designs. I've used my 2 larger stamp images to create this frame. And I have a piece of acetate that I'm going to put on this. I've already got my backing on here. And I'm going to just lift up some of the corners. I'm going to place my acetate on to get this ready to go on my page. So I shared this in another video, but I'm going to share it again just in case you're new and this is the first time you're seeing this. When you are using double-sided tape or something like this and you want to place something down on the page and you need it to be perfectly placed, just peel up the corners on each side, not the entire strip. And then you can place this down so that it's in the correct position. And then once you have it where you need it to be, press into those spots that you have removed the backing, and then just pull the rest of your backing off. So it's not all puckery, it doesn't move. I feel like this for me has been the easiest way to apply stuff like this so it doesn't shift slightly, become crooked, or hang off the edge of the piece that you're trying to make. So now that I have that part, I need to add another layer of tape, but this time I'm only going to be adding it to my sides and my bottom. So this is going to be my bottom. And I'm using 1/8 of an inch wide tape here because I want to be able to have as large of a photo space as I possibly can, but also because my frame is pretty narrow and I don't want to be able to see that tape behind my frame whenever it's on the page. So my frame, I'm going to be placing right in the center of the page. And just like how I removed the backing to place my acetate onto my frame, I'm going to do the same thing here where I'm only going to remove the corner on each piece. And then I'm going to lay this down. And then pull my strips and adhere this to the page so that it is straight and exactly where I want it. And now we have that opening at the top, so a photo will slide right down inside. Next, I'm going to apply my number 9, and I'm going to be placing it here. I'm not going to place it on the adhesive on the one side that's on the acetate because it won't really stick very well. So I'm just going to be placing my adhesive. Okay, it will on the 9, it'll hit that middle frame, which was what I was hoping for. So I'm going to place this right here. And adhere that down to my page. And then I have this little love banner, which I'm going to place here and just off to the side. So on my love piece, I've actually only put adhesive from the center to the bottom. So there's no adhesive in the top of this, just because again, I don't think it'll stick very well to the acetate on the pocket. So that's how I'm going to leave this side. I'm going to bring this piece in. It's going to go here, but before I put this down, I'm actually going to cut along my bird and I'm going to make a pocket. So this is a tag that I have from my Elizabeth Craft Design set. It's on my die cutting machine. It's a smaller tag, but it's from this set here. And I added one of the postage stamps to it. And I want to create a pocket for this to tuck in. So I'm going to start at the bird's tail and I'm going to go to the bird's head. So I'm going to use my craft knife to do this. And I'm just going to very carefully cut along the line on the paper. If you prefer to do this with scissors, you can use your fussy cutting scissors to do this. It's really just a matter of your preference. Okay, so now that I have a slit cut in there, I'm going to just slightly pop it out. And I'm going to test this out for size. And it looks like it's a good size for my piece. So next what I'm going to do is bring this in here, place my tag in here, and then I'm going to try to feel where that catches. So it looks like I can put about 3/4 of this down from the bottom. I can adhere all this down. So I'm going to add that first, just so that I know where my adhesive is. And then I'm going to go up the side because I know that that side is good. And then this whole side will be fine. And then this top portion, and I want to make sure that that edge around my bird is got some adhesive on it so that it's adhered down and it doesn't catch and rip that paper when I pull that tag in and out. The back of the signature is pretty lumpy, so it's a little bit hard to get this to lay flat. So I'm just going to use my fingers instead of my bone folder, because all those little lumps from the back aren't going to just be very easy with my bone folder. Now I'm going to take this, set it in there so it works. It is just fine. And then I'm going to take this back out, and I have one of my hole reinforcers. I have a set of these from Elizabeth Craft Designs. I think they're really neat. There's different shapes and things, but I'm just using the plain old circle one. And then I've got a button, very small button. This is from Lisa from her goodie bag. And I'm just going to be placing it on here, right in the center. And then I will place my tag in my pocket. And now I have one of my little lace borders. This is from Annette Green's Everything's Blooming collection from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And I am going to place this up here. So I did cut 3 more of the banner pieces. It's actually the end of this piece. And I'm just going to put this right here just to kind of blend these 2 pages in a little bit better. And now it's time to add some gems just to make this a little bit more decorative. For this one, I'm going to be using red gems, and I'm just going to be placing all of them in the centers on these little lace borders on both sides of the page. So I need 8 in total. And this is it for spread number 9. I'm going to let all of this dry, and then I will have everything done for my very first signature. So this is my first signature with my first 9 spreads in it. Look how thick this thing is. Few things to think about if you haven't started making one of these yet. If you want to, I would recommend not using the cardstock for your pages and just using your decorative papers, because that's adding a lot of bulk. I essentially have 3 sheets on most of these pages because I have my cardstock base and sheets decorating each side. And then I've got my embellishments and such too. So that's a pretty chunky book. And I've got 1 of these done. I've got 3 more or 2 more to go. If I put this in my cover now, it will close how it's supposed to. But if the other signatures are just as chunky, this cover is not going to close correctly, and I'm not going to have the pretty part on the front. So chances are I'm going to end up making a new cover for my book, which is why I do not ever do my cover until after I have my pages finished. I will still have this cover listed in my shop, but I will probably be making a different cover for mine, because here's my second and third signature just without stuff in it. But if I have my other signatures, this is going to be a very chunky, big old book whenever it's done. So we're talking probably 3.5 inches would be my guess of what this is going to be, how thick it'll be when it's finished. So definitely going to be using something different than this. And once I figure that out, then I will also link that in the description box. So check out future videos for that once I figure out what it is that I'm going to do. So that's it for today's video, and starting in the next one, we're going to move on to signature number 2 and keep going with our spreads. Thank you for watching and have a great day.